In this lesson, we'll learn how to graph inequalities with one variable. We're going to see that we can represent all of the solutions to our inequality on a number line. Here we have x is greater than -2, and we want to represent that on our number line. So somehow we have to show that x can be any number that's greater than -2. The first thing that we'll do is plot a circle at -2 because that's where we're going to start. And then we show that x can be anything more than that. So we shade to the right of -2. Now notice that we also shade in the arrow at the end of that number line, because we want to represent that x goes on and on for infinity in that positive direction. So remember, if x is greater than that number, we have an open circle and shade to the right. On the other hand, if x is less than -2, we'll still start by plotting an open circle at -2, but this time, since x is anything less than -2, we'll have to shade to the left. And once again, we include the arrow to show that x will go on and on for infinity in that negative direction. So if x is less than the number, we have an open circle at the number and shade to the left. Now this time we have x is greater than or equal to -2. So this time x can be -2. To show that, we're going to plot a closed circle at -2. When we have a closed circle, meaning that we color it in, we shade it in, that shows that that number is one of our solutions for x. We want to include it as one of our solutions. To show that x can also be greater than that -2, we do just like we did before, shade everything to the right. So when we have greater than or equal to, we have a closed circle at the number and shade to the right. And just like you can probably guess from here, when we have x is less than or equal to -2, we'll have a closed circle at the -2, shade to the left, and that shows that x can be exactly -2 or anything to the left of it, anything less than. So when we have less than or equal to, we have a closed circle and shade to the left. So you can see the pattern that we have here. The first thing that we need to do is figure out if we have an open circle or closed circle at the number, and that depends on whether or not we include that number as part of our solution set. And then the second part is to figure out which direction on the number line we should shade. If it's greater than, we shade to the right, and if it's less than, we shade to the left.